All right, today we're going to talk about protein and how we get protein from food source, whether that be a meat source like steak or chicken, bacon, or plant-based sources that are high in like bean or soy, and how that goes, and we break those amino acids down in their long chain links into simple chains and ready for absorption and then use in our body. Now, a lot of people think protein, they think about building muscle mass, and although that is a critical role, remember it's also critical for many other processes. Actually, we only utilize about 30 to 40% of the protein that we consume in anabolic processes, building processes. So the journey starts in the mouth where we start chewing our food. We're going to chew that food and increase that surface area. And there are no enzymes that are actually present in saliva that breaks down protein. So we don't actually get any chemical breakdown happening until it hits the stomach. When it hits the stomach, we encounter hydrochloric acid. That's going to denaturize the protein. That's going to break it down. Think of a ball of many amino acids. It's going to unravel those into a long strip where an enzyme known as pepsin can then start breaking those down. So pepsin accounts for about 10 to 20% of the digestive process of protein. But then it's pushed to the small intestine, into the duodenum, where protease, a group of enzymes known as protease, will interact with it, breaking down those polypeptides. This is combined with an enzyme group again called peptidase, and these will end up yielding either single amino acids, dipeptides, 2 amino acids, or tripeptides, 3 amino acids. And at that point, they're ready for absorption. The majority of the absorption happens in the jejunum, but there is a small amount that will happen in the duodenum. When it comes to individual amino acids, they are actively transported. If they are di and tripeptides, they're going to be facilitatedly transported into the intestinal wall. Once into the intestinal wall, more peptidases will break down those di and tripeptides into the single amino acids where they can be facilitated into the blood. Once in the blood, they are transported to the liver via the hepatic portal vein, where they can be used to do a number of different processes with the liver, and if the liver doesn't want them, they can be released into the blood and become the amino acid pool in the blood. Now, this can be uptaken by many other cells in the body, including muscle, which we focus more on in this class. So once that blood-bound amino acid reaches the cell, it will be facilitated through that cell wall. It will be given instructions by the nucleus of the cell, and this is going to create these amino acids and put them back to a protein structure. Now, depending on the role and the activity and the hormones in the body will determine what protein your body decides to create. Now, if testosterone's high, it's very common that contractile proteins such as muscle mass will be produced. And how that happens is, the nucleus has those instructions within genes of our DNA, and they will be transcribed from those genes to a messenger RNA, mRNA. And that messenger will go to an organ known as a ribosome for the construction. We're getting these single amino acids put back together in an anabolic process, the opposite to that digestive process where we're breaking them down. So we start putting them back together in a process known as translation, and we continue to build back on that protein. Now, if an amino acid is needed in that sequence and is not available, the body will catabolize another protein source to extract that amino acid and continue the building process. If that isn't available, the building process halts. So that's how protein goes from plate to cell and can be given a new role. I hope you learned something.